Okay, I'm going to try one of my favorites. I already know how good it is, but I'm going to try it so that y'all can see me try it. I've been eating it for years and years and years. My mama's sweet potato souffle. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to prep for a sweet potato souffle. I'm going to go ahead and start the potatoes. These potatoes have been in my kitchen for a while and they need to be cooked. So I thought what better than today to go ahead and get these ready. I always peel my potatoes and my carrots over the top of the trash can. It's just easier to me. And then I just have a few to pick up off the floor. I hardly ever peel them over the table. Alright, we've got my steamer pot inside this saucepan with water in the bottom. So what we're going to do is just steam these potatoes. I'm just going to cut them up in hunks. The quicker you are with it, the better off you are, because sweet potatoes start turning brown as soon as they're out in the open after you get their skins off. I'm just going to put the lid on these so you can see them. And the good thing about steaming potatoes is it keeps all the nutrients in and it makes them really pretty and orange. Turn this up to about a medium high. Alright, we're going to use my sweet potato souffle's recipe out of my cookbook. Now this souffle recipe, I think it calls for 3 or 4 cups of sweet potatoes. This is the recipe we're using. If you want to know what my cookbook looks like, that's how they look. Every page is a recipe. They're big, printed big so you can see it real easy while you're cooking. They're spiraled so you can lay it down on the counter. I'm just going to use a cup scooper. And I measure my potatoes before I mix them up. So there's one. Yeah, we got about 3 cups, so I'll go ahead and make the full recipe. Really, the good thing about using one of these, you can actually just pick it up and it drains the potatoes already, and you can bring it over here and dump them in. Put this in the sink. Go ahead and put this in the water so that your potatoes don't get all sticky on the side of it. Now some people put coconut in theirs. I personally do not like coconut in my sweet potatoes. I like to taste the sweet potato. So we're going to start with a cup of sugar and the potatoes with a whisk attachment. There's a cup of sugar. And we're going to start mixing them up. You're going to want to mix them until they're creamy. In it later, and get the potatoes that are around the top down in the good stuff, okay? Because you don't want to have lumpy potatoes. These potatoes look like they got a lot of fiber in them. You can see the fiber coming out everywhere. And even on my spoon, there's a piece. Okay, so we're going to throw in a half a stick of butter. So it's got 1 cup of sugar in it right now. Half a stick of butter. It needs 2 eggs. And when you put your eggs in there, because it's warm, don't let them turn into scrambled eggs. Make sure it's going, okay? They're not going to, as long as you got it mixing. Put in a half a cup of cream. It's already looking pretty. So it's pretty runny. And I need to go around the edge of this to make sure all that gets down in there. Let me tell y'all this. Y'all may think this is not enough cinnamon, but I'm telling you, if you make this combination, everybody is going to rave over it. 1/4 teaspoon is all it takes to make it taste good. Now we're going to put in our vanilla, a teaspoon of vanilla extract. We're just going to put this in a baking dish and bake it at 350 degrees. This makes it a little bit easier to clean up. Even if it says you don't have to, and even if it's Temptations or whatever, I still do it. Okay? So here we go. Let's get this fluffy, beautiful stuff in here. Now this dish is a little deeper, and I personally like my sweet potatoes to be pretty deep. I don't like them to be like a little thin with more topping. A lot of people like the topping better than the potatoes. I like the potatoes better than the topping. Or I really like them both. I just like them together. So now we're going to make a topping for it. We're going to make our topping next. Our oven is preheating, and this will give you time to preheat your oven. So we're going to use this little chopper. This little chopper will chop my nuts too much, so I'm actually just going to chop a few at a time. Chop them and then put in some more and chop it. Whoops. Alright, we're going to mix up an 1/8 cup of self-rising flour, a whole cup of brown sugar. These are 1/2 cup scoops, and you can get these on my website at www.colorvalleycooks.com. Just go in the kitchen section, the tab that says kitchen. Now we're going to put in a 1/2 stick of butter, and you're going to want it to be close to room temperature. And you're also going to use a blending fork for this. It makes it so much easier. This is our famous blending fork. Not ours, but you know, I use it all the time. If you don't have one, you should invest in one, because you see how that butter goes right through that? Instead of getting stuck, it just keeps going through and it continues. So it's so much easier to cut things in with a blending fork than just a regular fork. I love mine. Now you do have to pull it off sometimes. I love mine for biscuits too. So you're going to actually blend this together. Just keep blending it until it's crumbly. I'll put the pecans in there now. We're going to mix it up. Good. I'm going to use my hands at this point, because I'm going to use my hands to put it on the sweet potato souffle. So I usually just use my hands, and I just mix it up good in there. And see, now it's a nice crumbly mixture, and nothing can make it be pretty like this, like just using your hands. It's really pretty, ain't it? Okay, we're going to take it and sprinkle it on top of this pie. This is like pecan pie on the top. It really tastes just like pecan pie. And I like this topping better than the marshmallow, better than the one that has cinnamon and oatmeal and all that in it. Now, that's my preference. This is what I grew up with, so of course this is what I like. But I challenge you to taste it. I used to make these for people that I worked for. They would order one when I was a young girl. They'd say, Tammy, will you make our sweet potato souffle this year for Christmas? And I would say, absolutely. So we're going to bake this for 30 minutes. I think it's 30. Let me look. $35 to 45 minutes. So let's just go 40. So we're going to do the timer, 40, start, and we'll be back when it's done and show it to y'all. Okay, y'all, this has been in here 40 minutes, and let me show you something. Now, my cookbook don't tell you this, but when you jiggle that, you can tell how fluffy and done this is, like a sweet potato pie when it gets done. But you see how that looks wet in the middle, and it's still more jiggly in the middle? You want to be able to shake it and it kind of stay firm. So we're going to have to cook this thing a lot longer. It's in a deeper pan than a 13 by 9. So it's going to take it a little longer to cook. So we're just going to put another 15 minutes on the timer for this. Okay, this is ready. Our sweet potato souffle. I'm going to dip out a little bit so you can see how pretty it is. It should be nice and fluffy when you get it done, with no jiggling. Now it is. You want it almost set up like a pie. I'll put it in here. Okay, I'm going to try one of my favorites. I already know how good it is, but I'm going to try it so that y'all can see me try it. I've been eating it for years and years and years. My mama's sweet potato souffle. I buy stuff and then I plan on cooking it, and then something happens with mama or the kids, or we wind up doing something else, and then I hate for it to go bad, so I told Chris, I said, we got to use these sweet potatoes today. Some people call it sweet potato casserole. Can't find anything any better than that. Southerners love their sweet potatoes. Thanks for watching Colored Valley Cooks, where we cook like Mama did.